Anthony Davis talking about how he has yet to really fail at any level in his career. He hasn't been that successful with New Orleans just because the team didn't go very far. But what do you make of what Anthony Davis had to say?
I mean, he's totally correct that this would be the only level that he didn't win a championship. He was only at Kentucky 1 year. They're the best team in the country. They won a title.
Yes.
He was dominant on both ends of the court. They got to New Orleans. He was so good so quickly. They tried to microwave that process, traded away some picks, signed some bad contracts because they thought, oh, we can win. He's an MVP candidate by year 3. We can win right now. And it short-circuited what they could have built there. But, yeah, I mean, if you are the type of player who is a perennial MVP contender, and in the NBA specifically, and you finish your career without a title, that is considered a level of failure. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't mean your career was a failure. But for Barkley and Karl Malone and right now James Harden, Russell Westbrook, that missing from their career is an enormous gap on the resume. And it's the only gap. Now, Anthony Davis hasn't won a league MVP the way those 4 guys I just mentioned have, but he's been in the top 3, I think, twice. And I think most people expect that at some point he will win a league MVP. So to me, this wasn't shocking news. It wasn't shocking that he feels this way. It was pretty clear the reason he wanted to go to Los Angeles to play with LeBron was because he thought it gave him the best chance this year and long term to compete for championships, which is what he understandably is most focused on at this point.
He got that first initial experience at Kentucky to let you know, man, that championship feels good. He led that team. He was phenomenal. And like you mentioned, we can't forget, individually, he was very, very successful in New Orleans. But what we do in reporting on the game and those who follow the game, if he's not successful, you know what we end up talking about? Oh, he's not that good of a player. But if he is successful, we don't talk about that. We talk about the team. Every guy can't lead a team to a championship, even though in the NBA, if you have one of the better players, your chance of winning most of the games and win the championship are highly likely compared to the NFL. He has his goals in the right place. That's why he forced a trade. It wasn't just LeBron James. It was the Lakers. It was the attraction of a big man playing for the Lakers, how they've always had a big guy, and they put other stars around it for the rest of his 10-year career or potentially even longer. So he made the right move. His head's in the right place. When you're a top 10 player, I think it's realistic that you should set your goal to, I want to win a championship. He went a little bit further by saying, I'd like to win a championship. Most high-level people won't say my career was a failure, because I wouldn't admit that. I would have loved to win a championship. Man, I tried, but I'm not going to say my career was a failure. His career will not be a failure if he doesn't win a championship.
It also should be noted, Anthony Davis has been to the playoffs twice, and the team he's lost to both times is a team that won the title, Golden State. The first time he was there, year 3, I remember this game vividly. Anthony Davis was killing the Warriors when they were down 2-0 in the first game back in New Orleans, just killing them. And the Warriors went crazy at the end of regulation. Steph hit a 3, falling down in the corner to force overtime. They end up winning that game, going to sweep them. He doesn't make the playoffs again for another few years. Then they go and sweep Portland 4-0 when Portland's the 3 seed. Then who do they face? The Warriors again, this time with Kevin Durant, because the Warriors were the 2 seed that year. And they didn't. Anthony Davis was great in that series again, and they won 1 game. Like it has not, you can argue, why weren't they better the 2 years prior when they missed the playoffs and Davis missed some time and there were questions there. I get it. But nobody should doubt how great of a player he is, and I do think there is a little extra pressure on the NBA star when people are looking at careers than in the other sports, because people do say, if you're that good in the NBA, you should. There's not.
No, because you influence the offense and the defense.
Right.
I mean, you should. You're on the court. I mean, Tom Brady's won that many Super Bowls, but imagine if you had a two-way player. It should be disproportionate as far as the greater player winning championships.
Go ahead.
No, clearly Anthony Davis wants to win, and it is important to him winning. Failure is not even an option. Do you think if he doesn't win in year 1 with the Lakers, he'll go somewhere else and try to do it?
No, absolutely not. This was going to be the messaging. That's the reason why the Knicks. I know for a fact Anthony Davis, Rich Paul, they told the Knicks, we're not going to sign an extension. So all year, even if you make this trade for me, All year, you have to explain this to your fan base, that he's still going to become a free agent. He's not going to sign a long term until the summer of 2020. That was no matter where he went. The Lakers and LeBron, they can handle that. There's stability there with the Lakers now because they got LeBron. They got AD. So as far as developing the rest of that roster, the flexibility that they didn't have with free agency, latent free agency with the Kawhi thing going on, they have a competent roster. They have a good NBA team. I think that's just the beginning stages of what they're trying to build. We're going to see a lot more interviews of Anthony Davis because we haven't seen a whole bunch of him playing there in New Orleans.
And I think that Anthony Davis, I would be shocked, just absolutely gobsmacked, if he doesn't re-sign with the Lakers after this year. But I also be pretty surprised if he signs that 5-year max deal you can sign. My guess is he knows what everybody knows, what Kawhi knew. Oh, you can get a much bigger deal after 10 years in this league. Yeah. Anthony Davis, after this year, who will have played 8 seasons in the NBA.
Yep.
And LeBron will have 2 years left on his contract with the Lakers. Anthony Davis, almost assuredly, after this year, will sign a 2+1 with the Lakers to where he can hit free agency after 10 years, get the most money, see where LeBron's at, see where the Lakers are at, see if they've won a title. So I don't think it's a given that Anthony Davis is going to play for the Lakers for the next decade. But I'd bet all the money I've got that he plays for the Lakers for at least the next 3 years. And I bet a decent amount of money he gets at least one of those championships in the next 3.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.